Just made our way to the St. Paul River Center for the Hobby Clash. Same location as the big Minnesota show that takes place in April and then in September. It's gonna be a little different of a show. We're excited for it though. Look at this handsome. I gotta get this guy. Really?
Oh, let's just vlog. $10 on the base.
Yeah, I've ripped it before. Here we go. We're gonna go pull a Kelsey right here. Hey, no, that's actually kind of heat. That's kind of sick. That is the hit of the box so far. Yeah, I got scammed. Let's just take a moment to appreciate when Panini cared about their cards. I mean, look how nice Select used to look. I mean, clearly we pulled only 4 refractors. We didn't get a single numbered base card back when. Sam wants to show off his Steph Curry.
Nice.
Went out and found that lucky envelope that is numbered 2/8.
A courtside, by the way.
Today we picked up what felt like, I don't know, 10 101s. It's only fitting that we start with another 101. How sweet are these 3D printed?
Awesome.
Very cool for a man cave, maybe even for a card shop. One thing to consider if you're coming to a Minnesota show, if you see either of these two guys come up to your table, tell them to go away. Just finishing up at the Hobby Clash here at the St. Paul River Center and heading home. We got Sammy Boy driving, so I can give you guys the fresh review you deserve. Things first, let's address this issue. The Hobby Clash, this is the first time at the St. Paul River Center that they've done a Hobby Clash. Typically it's been the April and fall shows that have primarily been sports cards, so this is the first time that they went TCG and sports mixed together. I think overall this show had more of a Comic-Con vibe. I know it was a Hobby Clash intended to do a lot more sports and TCG and comics and artists and shoes and stuff. It did feel like there wasn't quite as many sports card guys there. I think that's due to the fact that Fanatics Fest was going on, a local card show in Bloomington was going on, and a card show, a sports card show only, was going on in Wisconsin. There wasn't a ton of sports for me and for the other customers that were kind of coming into the show to find sports cards. In the future, I do expect this card show to have more sports cards incorporated. Like I said, I just think there was a lot of factors going into it as to why they were not. All that being said, let's get into the vendor variety rating on this show. When I look at the vendor variety as a whole here, yes, it was a lot of TCG. So I don't know that stuff as well personally. I know more of the sports card show. What I will say about the TCG, there was a ton of it. There was a ton of variety. There was a lot of different sets within the Pokemon stuff. I saw a lot of One Piece. I saw a lot of the artists, which I think is really cool when they bring in a bunch of other things that are kind of related to collecting. The artists were making a lot of Pokemon stuff, the paintings, the wall art, lots of really, really cool stuff. And then yes, they also brought in shoes. A lot of Jordans, Nike, sneakerhead type guys would have loved that show. And they also brought in a ton of autograph guests, which was really fun for me. I will post a picture right here of me and Meowth got 2 cards signed myself, and I got 1 card signed for my friend. Sam hooked up his buddy.
Yep, Alec is his name. And then on the show, Dr. Alexi from Stranger Things. He's the scientist with the slushy in the one scene. So I thought it was pretty cool and super respectful guy. So they really put on a good show.
This show had a ton of variety. Again, not quite as much sports as we would have hoped for. So on my end, and I think just from some feedback I got from customers coming my way, and keep in mind, a lot of my customers obviously are sports people. So some of it was a little like, hey, where's the more stuff? From my perspective, the vendor variety of this show got a 6.5 out of 10. Getting into the location of this place, I love it. When you're talking these large shows, getting in and out is so important. This one is so easy to get in and out of. Parking ramp attached literally across the street. The location itself, if you're flying in, is really close to the airport. There's plenty of hotels. There also is plenty of parking. I think, how many levels did it have? 4 or 5 levels of parking. I also got to bring up the fact that it was 100 degrees out. I was worried. I was telling Sam too, I'm like, dude, it better not be roasting in there. Minnesotans were not used to that 100-degree weather. Couldn't even tell. We were completely cool and comfortable the entire time we were at this show. And when you're talking about these big shows, comfortability, when you're there for that long, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type show. Super important. The only critique I have for this show in particular is more affordable food options. Like $6 for a very average slice of pizza, I would say, adds up over the weekend. So maybe having a food truck or some other options right outside would be awesome. There is some stuff close-ish, you know, a 10-15 minute walk for some decent food. But right in St. Paul, some of that stuff is closed on Saturdays and Sundays for some reason. So that's my one critique. This location rating gets an 8.5 out of 10 though. Monster score for a large show. Overall, this car show is getting a 7 out of 10, which is a pretty dang good score for a large show, and especially with their very first show going on. I think this Hobby Clash only has room to grow when more of these sports card guys can be incorporated and involved when there's not so much other stuff going on. That's going to make a huge difference. This location's awesome. Theo Vaughn was performing at the XL Center, which is connected right to it, on Friday night. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. This is a card show that you might want to fly in for, especially if you're into TCG big time. And if you're within an hour of it, you're definitely going to want to drive to it. A couple more thoughts. You know, my show went pretty well overall. It was really dependent on the walk-ups that I got, and I picked up some really cool stuff. I will show you the top 3 right after this. If you came as a customer looking just for sports stuff, it's one of those shows where you had to dig around, look through value boxes, find some good value within dealer showcases. A lot of those guys, especially guys up front at Triple Diamond, I got, I think, 2 or 3 deals done with. It was a fun weekend. Seen a lot of guys that we love, a lot of guys who are heavily involved in the hobby, and you will see them if you check out this show next time they do it. All right, here we go with my top 3 pickups of the weekend, starting with a pretty cool one at number 3. This Justin Simmons NFL Shield. You can still see the orange from the jersey too. Very cool 101 patch from NT. This is from 2023. It's not game used, otherwise this would have shot way up the list from number 3. At number 2, I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with this guy right now. We got a jersey color match, red RPA, number to 75. I think some of these unlicensed autos for the guys who don't have licensed autos are very underrated. This is a sweet pickup. A lot of people be confused at why this one's number 1, but come on, guys. A courtside select tie-dye rookie, numbered to 25 of my guy Karl Anthony Towns. Love Cat while he was in Minnesota. Love Cat while he's in New York. These courtsides are really tough to find, and they weren't as widely produced as they are today. So to find one in the wild at a decent price, I thought that was really cool. Appreciate you guys watching, and as always, we'll see you at the next show.